Okay, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday. It is the 23rd day of June. It is draft night. I hope you're all healthy and safe today, and you and your family's needs are being met in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and the first responders out here every day, the cops, the firemen, the EMT people, as well as those in emergency rooms trying to save lives every day. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage for us to keep streets, sidewalks, parks, rec places clean. And those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women who are out here every day trying to deliver and rescue the children who are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Blessings upon those who are trying to rescue the victims also of pornography and child pornography, the victims of prostitution and child prostitution, the victims of human trafficking and sex slavery, and double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts who traffic in this flesh and human misery. Finally, blessings upon the homeless, nearly 600,000 men, women, and children on the streets of the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and may the Most High look upon them, blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. All right, so tonight is the draft. Now, couple things, a lot of things going on. But what I want to state first and foremost is I have to say, regardless of what happened, the New York Knicks management has done a great job. I could tell you even before it happens because of how they have set this up. It's tremendously, you have to see it in its totality to understand the chessboard that the Don and his crew have put together. Okay, first of all, I want to say I won't be live on this tonight. I'll be seeing it from the plane. I'll be in the plane coming from Orlando, Florida to Washington, D.C. tonight at the time of the draft. We got a real good deal and got discounts. So I'm going to be in first class, me and my wife today. But in first class, I could watch the TV and see the draft. So it's all good. I'll be watching it, but I won't be able to participate or see it. But we're definitely going to go live at some point over this weekend regarding the results of this draft. Okay, just to let y'all know. Now, let's talk about what has happened here. Okay. Y'all, I'll give you an example of haters. Okay. They're supposed to be Knicks fans, but they're really haters. Some unfortunate individual came yesterday and quoted on my channel about how because the Knicks did not trade Julius Randle or make a move with Portland on the 7th pick, that somehow Leon Rose has failed. This is an example of short-term stupid thinking that has got the Knicks in previous regimes in messed up situations. You got to step back. It's time for us to give props to the Don. I know some of y'all are so hardened, so messed up from previous regimes, you can't appreciate what's going on right now. But if you look at the last two drafts, you should see and understand how homie moves. Okay, so let's look back. Let's talk about what we got now. So the Knicks, now we're talking about reports from Ian Begley, Shams, and Wojnarowski. I'm not dealing with nobody else right now. All of these other things. Mark Stein, I'll put him below them, but let's give him some little bit on this too. But anybody else, NBA Trade Central and all this other, ESPN, no. All right. First of all, the Knicks are trying to move up and trade for Jaden Ivey. They're dealing with the Sacramento Kings. Okay? They're putting deals in place to get that done. As a backup plan, they're reaching out to Detroit at 5 and they're dangling Cam Reddish and whatever else because they're telling Sacktown, listen, you don't want to deal with us? It's all good. We'll go to Detroit and we'll either get Ivy or Benedict Mathurin. Mess with us and see what happens. Okay? Then they dealing with the 7th pick with Portland. The Jeremy Grant deal did not have anything to do with the 7th pick. Number one, we need to understand, I did a video weeks ago and told y'all Grant was number one on their list. And I said that Jeremy Grant is a better team player than Julius Randle. I'm not saying he's a better talent. I'm saying he's a better team player on a team that wants to win a chip. And Portland wants to win a chip. Okay. He has already shown that in his stops in Oklahoma City and Denver. On a playoff child's team, you wanted Jeremy Grant. High IQ, heavy defender, great finisher, and now has a 3-point shot. So he's a better piece on a championship team than Randall. That would have been their number one priority. And then you have John Collins, who's a better floor spacer. If they're looking for a floor spacer, he's better. Okay, so those two cats were going to be above Julius Randle in this move regardless. Randle fit, but I always said it depends on what they do with these other two guys. And the fact that Jeremy Grant was possibly going to Miami, that would have made it opportunity for the Knicks to make a move with Portland, but it didn't happen. So it's all good. Not only that, Detroit wanted the more cap space because Portland was able to eat Grant's salary into the trade exception that they have. That created cap space for Detroit, who can now go after, if they want Mitchell Robinson, they can go after DeAndre Ayton. They can go after Mo Bamba. They can go after anybody that they can get in this free agent market because they got the money. Okay. That's that. But if Detroit doesn't want to deal with us, the Knicks are talking at number 7. Who would they want at number 7? Now, listen, what I'm telling y'all today, some of y'all seem to think I'm really the GM of the Knicks. So if I tell you what they're going to do, if I tell you what I prefer, you all saying, why would you do this? And start tripping, right? I'm not the GM. I try to explain. There's things that I want, and then there's things I think the Knicks will do. And that's not always the same thing. Today, I'm talking about what I think the Knicks will do. And I'm appreciating it, though I don't agree with all of it. For example, at 4, we're talking Jaden Ivey. At 5, we're talking Benedict Mathurin. At 6, in those 3 spots, at 6, we're dealing with Keegan Murray. Okay? Now, at 7, it could either be Dyson Daniels, who Berman's been hyping for the Knicks, saying the Knicks really want him. It could be Shaedon Sharpe. Okay. Now let me talk about, now I'm not in favor of Shaedon Sharpe. I've let y'all know that. I don't even have him in my top list for the Knicks at all because of the lack of information. But, and then Ian Breakenpoint, he has fans. Having fans in the organization, he has fans in Knicks Nation too. That don't mean nothing. The fan that you need to be aware of or not is Leon Rose. He's ordering the pick. Okay. Now, the Jaden Sharpe raises the stakes on Detroit and on Sacktown. Oh, y'all want to do this? Okay, we'll take Shaedon Sharpe at 7. Or we'll take Dyson Daniels at 7. Or we'll take whoever we want at 7. Because they've gotten a list of players that they are interested in. Now, what would it mean if they chose a Shaedon Sharpe? First of all, let's be real. Shaedon Sharpe would not play in the NBA in terms of off the G League. He'd be in the G League for 2 seasons. Period. Okay. Tom Thibodeau has 3 years left on his 5-year deal. If he stays for the whole 3 years, Shaedon Sharpe will not see an NBA court until year 3. He's 18. Okay. So he's not going to see a year, you're not going to see him, which tells me something else. If they do end up picking a Shaedon Sharpe in that scenario, they have a guy that they're taking a risk on, that they're going to develop. But then they're probably going to look to trade down and get another guy that's more ready, now. Okay. An older guy like maybe a Agbaji or maybe a Tari Eason. Okay. Because they don't necessarily have to trade the 7th pick to Detroit. I mean, the 11th pick. They could, but they don't necessarily have to. And the other 2 teams know that. Okay. So that being the case, you're talking about a Shaedon Sharpe and probably somebody else. So now to Sacktown, they understand the Knicks got options. To Detroit, they understand the Knicks got options. To Portland, they understand the Knicks got options. So the chessboard is being set. Okay. Now at 11, all the mocks, the majority of the mocks that I see have AJ Griffin coming to the Knicks at 11. I've seen some AJ Griffin. I've seen some Johnny Davis mostly. I'm ignoring anybody talking about Jalen Duren unless it's going to be for a trade down. But you're talking about an AJ Griffin, a Johnny Davis, not on the top of my list, but I think that's where they'd probably go if they stay put at 11. Then you got the trade down possibilities, which we talked about in terms of getting more than one player. The chessboard is set. Now, y'all have to understand, this is how game works now. Somebody said, well, I wanted them to get Jaden Ivey at all costs. See, that's what the Sacktown once. You a sucker if you're looking like that, because they know they dangling it, and they know you like a crackhead trying to get it regardless of what it's cost. No, you got to be ready in any negotiation to walk away. Okay, you got to be willing to walk away. One of the biggest deals I made in my life when I was selling financial products is I used that technique once. I was wanting this dude. He had big money. I was going to make a big commission. But one day, and I've been working with him for 6 months, and I said, man, you know what? Maybe I should cut ties. So I called a meeting with him out of the blue. Like, can we meet tonight? I got something important I got to tell you. I said, I don't think you want to work with me. I think that you want to work with somebody else, but you're just too nice to tell me that. And I think I'm going to let you just do that. So I think we should cut ties tonight. I just want to tell you, I like you and your wife, blah, 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 blah. 2 weeks later, I had to check. You got to be ready to walk away and mean it. Okay. So some of y'all banking on Ivy, you got to understand, we may get them, but if they don't come correct, we walking. And don't blame KNICKS management. Just say the deal wasn't right. But the chessboard is set. You got Ivy. You got Matherin. You might have Keegan Murray, depending. You have 7 with Shaden Sharp. You have a possibility for AJ Griffin or Johnny Davis. You're going to get a good player. And you have a possibility to trade back. You can get a Dalen Terry. Maybe you could get a Tyree Eason. Maybe you could get a Jalen Williams. Maybe you could get a Okai Agbaji. We'll be in good shape there too. Okay? The board is set. And that's aside from the trade possibilities, which we all understand. All the veterans are on the market. It's been put out there already. Alec Burke is on the market. The foot surgery is not going to stop anything. He'll be ready for camp. Alec Burke is not a starter. No team is expecting him to play 35 minutes a game. Only Thibodeau did that. Okay? He's going to come off the bench and do his usual role and be a fourth quarter dude. That's what he do. He's at the prime of his career, at the end toward the end. So that's what he do. That's what you bring him in. And for $10 million on an expiring deal, yes, he's in demand. Also, you're going to get, apparently they push in Nerlens Noel, which they should. Let's not forget, you got a whole bunch of expiring deals on the Knicks. Then there's Julius Randle, Evan Fournier. Anything could happen. Okay. So that's a whole separate issue. But I want to tell y'all, Knicks Nation, the chessboard is set. We're going to come away with something. See, the Don got all of the pieces on the board in the proper position to create a checkmate. I'm really appreciating this Knicks management. So when I saw Shaden Sharp from Ian Begley, I said, that's a smoke screen. It's a smoke screen in the sense that he's not the number 1 option, number 2 option, but he's telling the rest of the league who might be interested in him as a top option, listen, we ready to take him at 7. Y'all want to play ball or don't you? Appreciate what you got, Knicks Nation. We got a front office doing work. The chessboard is set. You're going to see the thing spring tonight. Enjoy it. We'll talk more about it over the weekend, but you'll enjoy it, man. Have a good weekend. Shalom.